The continuous voter registration exercise of the Independent National Electoral Commission is ongoing. It's had its successes and challenges. Well, who better to ask than the Director of Voter Education, INEC, Ms. Oluwole Osaze-Ozi, and an election observer, Samson Itodo, to talk us through some of these issues. Ms. Oluwole Osaze, let me ask you, why is this exercise going on at the local government areas, headquarters, considering the large turnout? Or would the deployment of more machines and personnel solve the problem?
Well, let's get this straight. This is not a general registration exercise. We had done an exercise in 2010, 2011. We had done another in 2015. And in all the states where we have governorship elections, we've done severally. So this is a mop-up exercise as well. It's not a fresh exercise. And we think we've captured the vast majority of people. But there are those who have turned 18 since the last exercise. There are those who were inadvertently were not around when we did the registration, or for whatever reason did not register. Then we also have those whose data, tiny, minuscule of a minority, who had a data loss. So their names, though they came out for the registration, their names are not on the register. So this is the people, these are the people that we intend to capture in this exercise. And it is a continuous thing. If you come out today, if you come out in 2 months' time, you will still be captured. So I think people are enthusiastic, which is good. People are not waiting till the very last minute. They are waiting to be captured, and that is good as far as we're concerned. Well, will more machines? Probably so. We're trying to make our machines more efficient, and if need be, we're studying the thing. We're barely 10 days into this exercise, and when we after 1 week we issue a statement, we are still reviewing the processes, and we'll look at places where they have so many registrants where it might be necessary to deploy more machines. The Commission will study that, consider that, and now decide what to do that. But you know, we have limited personnel and we have limited machines. So those things have to be taken into consideration. But where it is absolutely necessary, we will do that. It's an ongoing process. Okay, Mr. Itodo, back to you now. Do you support Mr. Osaze-Ozi's point of view that Nigerians are just being enthusiastic? That's why the turnout is large. Or could it be another way for Nigerians to exhibit acts of fraud, electoral fraud? Is it another plan or another ploy to go about registering more than one time so as to have more permanent voter cards?
I think for every democracy, you need the enthusiasm of your citizens. So if citizens are being enthusiastic about the political process and getting involved, I think we should encourage them. But in encouraging them, we must also be clear with our messaging. I have just watched the remark by the party official from Anambra, and I just wonder if our politicians are actually serious. Because the information is clear and is out there about this exercise. And INEC, during the official launch of this, did announce to the world that in the next couple of months, as we approach towards the Anambra elections, this exercise will be decentralized to the registration areas. And if we look at this from an election logistics point of view, currently INEC is conducting this in 774 local governments. And based on reports from INEC, they're deploying about over 4,000 staff for this exercise. If INEC decentralizes this to the over 8,000 wards, INEC will require a strength of 44,000 officials. If this is further decentralized to the about 120,000 polling units, INEC will require about 600,000 staff to manage this exercise. And if you look at the cost involved, you would ask, I don't think as a country we are able to afford that at this material time, considering that this is not a fresh registration, but a registration that is conducted just to update the voters register. And INEC has informed Nigerians that very, very soon this will be decentralized to the registration areas. I think as Nigerians we should appreciate, we should understand with the Commission. But the Commission itself must also, in its messaging, engage stakeholders and be very, very clear about its plans. It's really difficult, and I personally, find it very, very difficult to drive all the way to Cairo to go register in the FCT, and a lot of people as well. So I agree that there is need for us to decentralize this, and INEC should prioritize this, but we must also look at the cost that is involved. But if Nigerians are getting enthusiastic, they should be encouraged, but they should communicate. I still hold the view that the voter education for this particular exercise has been extremely poor, especially at the state level. Yes, at the national level, the information is out there. But at the state level, you don't have voter education. And based on reports, even jingles or even television ads are not there at the state level. So the people are not aware. So that's something INEC needs to prioritize, that on a continuous basis, she should regularly meet with stakeholders and share updates on this exercise, as well as intensify the effort to educate Nigerians on the processes that are involved in this, as well as other stakeholders. The political parties have not been active as true political parties. They've not been mobilizing their voters or intending registrants and getting them to register and giving them the right message. Like the case in Anambra, for instance, that's pure misinformation. And this exercise is going on across all the different states, though with some local governments where this exercise is not taking place. I think the political parties should prioritize mobilizing registrants, people who have not registered before, to get to the voter registration centers, and then people who have their TVCs and have not collected their PVCs should go and collect their PVCs. But INEC must also simplify the process in a way and manner that it encourages citizens who show up at the registration centers to get registered. Okay, just a moment, Mr. Todo. Mr. Sazeuzi, security has also been another challenge. There have been reports of people coming in, carting away data capture machines. What's the partnership been like with security agencies, and what other things, avenues is INEC exploring to ensure this exercise doesn't become a free-for-all?
Well, as for the security, I'm hearing that for the first time, that snatching of data capture machines this time around. I'm surprised, but maybe I'll need to get more facts, more information on that. But generally, security has been okay. That is one of the areas that we've not had serious issues with. There is no reports yet. Save for, I think there's one or two of our offices were overwhelmed by the crowds in, there was one in Anambra, I think yesterday. But they were not violent, although we had to call for additional backup security to calm the people down, because they were, as I said, they were very, very enthusiastic, and sometimes they were bubbly about it, and it was getting, we didn't want it to get out of hand. But there's been quite good synergy. We've liaised with the security agencies, with the police, led by the police, the civil defense, and our usual security partners. They've been quite good. Most of our offices are quite secured, or they're in local government premises. And the registrants, prospective registrants, have behaved in an orderly, peaceful manner. So, but we're still negotiating with the police, still discussing with the police, and still reviewing everything that goes on case-by-case basis. Okay. On a final note, what's your message to Nigerians on the ongoing exercise? Well, it's that we're quite pleased with the enthusiasm in which they've embraced it, but let us stick to the rules. If you've registered before, please don't go back to register. When we run AFIS, we can discover this, and you're likely to get prosecuted for any offense. But I think that they should please just abide by the rules and go out and pick up your cars if you have registered before, do your transfer or anything else. If your card is damaged, come for replacement. If you have not registered before, please come out, and you're of age, come out and register. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Oluwole Osaze-Ozi, Director of Voter Education and Publicity for INEC, and Mr. Samson Itodo, Executive Director for YAGA. Thank you for joining us on the program. And that's our show for today. Many thanks for being great company. I'm Imana Amawe. Bye-bye.